What's up, metalheads? Jermaine Man, Eddie Monster here. That's right, we've got another reaction video for all of you, and this one is going to be kind of the juicy one. I was going to do one earlier for another band who had done a performance in the Concerts in a Quiet Theater, which is something that I was involved in. They could check out on the Union Theatre-Attleboro YouTube page, and don't worry, there will be a link in the description below so that you can check out the original video and the whole concert of the band that I'm going to be talking about in particular. And you can check out every other band as well. Also, don't forget, subscribe to their channel. That's right, Union Theater Television. And then subscribe to mine. That way we can keep creating content for those of you out there. So, as I said, I was going to do one for a band. Things got busy, got hectic. I didn't do it. You should check theirs out. They're called Nyman's Misery. It's a fantastic, fantastic episode of Concerts in a Quiet Theater. But for today, we're checking out another band. So, Nyman's Misery was the first band that I got. Well, they were the first band that played, not the first band that I got. I reached out to two bands. Okay, they were one. Well, really, I reached out to more, but anyways, out of the two bands that responded, so Nyman's Misery was one of them, but this one was one that I wanted the whole time because I kept seeing the acts, and I'm like, there's not enough metal bands on here. I got to get some metal bands on this, and I reached out to an old friend that I've known for like, it's got to be, I don't know, 25, 24 years, something of that nature, somewhere around there, that number. I mean, it's been a couple decades, and he's always been grinding on the scene. I've always been keeping an eye on everything that he was doing, always grinding on the scene. That's my good friend Wayne. He's the lead singer of a band called From Ashes Reborn. As a matter of fact, let's pull this up right there. There you go, From Ashes Reborn, a band out of Providence, Rhode Island. Okay, badass group, first of all, by the way. But anyways, I reached out to him. He was the first person. I was like, hey, you're from the Attleboro area originally. You know this theater, the Union Theater, blah, blah, blah. I was like, we're doing this thing. He immediately, fuck yeah, he was in. All right. And super happy. Told him, hey, reached out, get your spot, this and that, so that way it's confirmed you're in. And I was like, finally, a fucking metal band. You know what I mean? Like, hearing all the kinds of acts we were going to have, I was like, finally. And then, not to mention, we're having both on the same day. I mean, different times, opposite sides of the spectrum. One early in the morning, one late in the afternoon. So it was a great way to start the day and a fantastic way to end the day. So they come in, and it was like instantly like a reunion kind of thing for me and Wayne. And then meeting his band, fucking amazing. Their crew, amazing people. Had such a great time with these guys. And it was a fun time. It was a fun time. So here's the juicy stuff here. So for the most part, when you're watching this episode, you're going to notice we have our still camera, right? Which is always still, always centered on the whole entire band. And you have the other shots, right? The cutaways. So that way you can always do cutaways. And that's what the center camera is always for. So when you need to switch a shot, right? You always have that. So, for the most part, I set it up. I hit record on the device that we were using to capture this. Fantastic, right? Go through, and I'm like at the monitors, and I'm just keeping track of the audio at this point. Sean told me just watch these, make sure whatever they don't go over. Cool. Sean's out there, and he's filming. The band's fucking just killing it, song after song after song, just bringing the energy. Oh, by the way, viewer discretion is advised for those of you who, how do I say this? don't realize that adult things can be said at metal shows, just bear with me. Anyways, so whatever. We get to the end, and I'm fucking pumped because I love Sepultura. One of my favorite fucking bands, right? The band breaks into territory. Fucking awesome. Awesome. Bringing the right kind of energy into the room. Fantastic. Song's over. Set's over. I'm like, cool. I gotta shut off that stationary camera now. So I gotta go, walk around, get onto the stage, shut off the camera. And as soon as I get to the camera, it says that it's run out of storage. So it's stopped recording. And I'm like, okay, when did it stop recording? And then I noticed when it stopped recording, and I was like, fuck. You know what I mean? Instantly in my head. And I didn't know what to do. And because at this point, the band, I believe, was already breaking down everything. And I was like, fuck. Like, what am I going to do? Luckily, Sean had footage, on his camera. So he was able to save the day. And we were able to have territory on this episode, which is fucking fantastic. So, yeah, it was very nerve-wracking. And then, we went to go do the interviews because we always, if you notice, we've always had the same thing up. But when the episode starts, it's me saying, hey, stick around after the performance for the interview. So after you've watched the performance, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And usually it was like 2 places that we were using. I think the first day we sat at the seats inside the theater. But it got to be too noisy because we were always far behind on the schedule. So then we moved it to outside of the theater to like that hallway that's right before the doors. And I interviewed most bands there. But for these guys, it was like, nah, fuck this. And I'm not sure if it was Wayne that suggested it or if it was me or whatever, or maybe we both kind of like looked at each other and were like, yeah, all right, let's do this. So we get to the popcorn area, the counter, right when you walk in, it's the counter. And we were like, yeah, dude, fucking let's do this. Okay. We're going to do the interview right there. I decided right on that spot, right then and there, I said it. These guys are the season finale. Start with a bang, go off with a bang, right at the very end. And I hope, for whatever, I hope this is not it. I really do. I really hope this is not it. I really hope that we can do a second season because every single one of these bands, including From Ashes Reborn, gave it their all inside that theater. Every single band killed it, did exactly what they set out to do, week in, week out. Now, you can be critical, right, of everybody's performance and whatever, but for me, that's not what it was about. It was not about, this band is better than this band or because, they play this kind of music or that kind. It was, for one weekend, it was like there's a purpose. On the bottom right hand of my screen, you're going to see a QR code. Just like the one that's on the left side of the screen, right? But this one's a little more clear, and it doesn't have the time stamp on it. Sorry. But there was a purpose, and every single band that played that Saturday and played that Sunday, every single one of them had a purpose, just like we had a purpose. And we all came together. For one weekend, we all came together. And we all rocked out, right? To try and save a theater. A theater that is absolutely gorgeous, beautiful. If it was fixed up completely, God, I can't imagine how fucking amazing that's going to look. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just awesome. You know what I mean? And all of us came together for that one purpose. You know what I mean? To try and raise money. Now, we're not asking for you to donate $100, $1,000, $1,000,000, $10,000. Even if it's just $1, $1, okay? $1, $1, US dollars. That's all we could ask for. We're not asking you to break the bank. You know what I mean? Any donation is so greatly appreciated, right? We're trying to create a venue for these bands because venues are disappearing all the time. These bands who work their fucking asses off week in, week out, whether it's in the garage, in a jam space, in a basement, who the fuck cares where it is? Every single one of them is working their fucking ass off to get to a certain place, right? And I dream of giving these guys that space, right? Where they can come in, put on a badass show in front of a whole entire audience and be like, fuck yeah, this is so cool. This is like playing the Palladium in Worcester, Mass. This is like playing the Strand in Providence, Rhode Island, except this is the Union Theatre in Attleboro, Massachusetts. That is what it's all about. Watch that episode. The link is going to be in the description below. Make sure you donate to a great cause. Let's bring the independent scene the venues it needs. Stay metal.
Yo, what up, everybody? This is Mark from Suicide Silence.
And this is Brian Fair from Shadows Fall.
This is Trevor Sternad from the Black Dahlia Murder here.
Yo, this is Gary Hall from Exodus and recently retired from Slayer, and
Hello, this is Becky Boulder from Hamburg Grapple and Fury.
Hey, this is Charlie with Anthrax. I just want to give a shout out to Pedal to the Metal Radio, the podcast.
The podcast to get all your rock and metal news plus reviews.
Keep it metal. Pedal to the Metal Radio, motherfuckers!